Hi, how are you? How's life? I haven't seen you in such a long time. How's your mom? Haruki Murakami. We've been on a journey, me and you and I, English, whatever. The more I read from this author, the more I want to read more. I haven't read enough from them. I'm going to be reading only Murakami books for a week. So we are going to be reading Sputnik Sweetheart. I 100% got because it had a sapphic thingy to it. And then we are going to be reading Man Without Woman, which is a book that I didn't hear about.
Why?
And I will see you at the dropout. I'm in love with this man. I just finished Here Doing Sing, which is about the narrator, an unnamed narrator who is home from college on his summer break, that is spending his time drinking beer and listening to records, a lot of jazz, as you might know, and a lot of great music, as you might know, from Mr. Murakami. Oh my god, his taste. Oh, incredible. Incroyable. So good. So fucking good. He's thinking about writing and the women that he wants to This was Murakami's first novel, which I didn't know when I picked it up, but it made me so excited to read it when I figured that out. It was published in Japanese in 1979, and it's held its own. It's been a long time and it's held its own. This was a short story, which I'm not used to with Murakami books. I'm used to thicker daddies. Oh my god, no. The writing was easy, super easy to understand and beautiful, and honestly it felt like a piece of life from someone, and I loved that feeling. It felt like we took a piece from someone's life, like just a period of time from someone's life, like their early 20s or something, and just gave it to other people, to us, to read it. It also feels like Norwegian Wood as a baby. It feels like this is Norwegian Wood, right? And this is like how Norwegian Wood started. Like this feels like Norwegian Wood feels like this on crack. Which is one hell of a point because I loved Norwegian Wood. It sort of gives the feeling of a diary that you stole and are reading. In the best way possible though. Which leads me to a second point. It speaks a lot about writing and like the pain and hardships behind it, which made it feel like low-key Murakami was sharing a few pages of his own journal. Like that's where like the feeling of it being a diary, of it being a piece of someone's life, and of it being a low-key biography. I like that. The characters though in this one are super one-dimensional, nothing really too deep about it or about them or about anything, which I personally liked with this one, which is something that I don't really like in general, and I don't think no one does, but with this one I liked it because it felt like an old person is reminiscing, and sometimes, you know, when you have a hit of nostalgia, sometimes things are remembered in hyper detail and sometimes they're just glimpses of life, and this is how that felt to me. It felt like a glimpse of life, and the people that we meet in this story are one-dimensional, yes, but that made it all too real in the sense of it being a journal or a diary. There's this pointlessness, I'd say, when it comes to Murakami's books. Some more than others. The least pointless book that I've read is Kafka on the Shore. But there is this sense of pointlessness when it comes to his books in general, which is something that I find lovely and honestly endearing and compelling. It's done in a way that makes it feel like you're living life, like it romanticizes life in a way. This was a story with no plot, in my opinion, no memorable characters, no deep dimensional beings in it, no fucking memorable scenes, nothing super interesting, yet it still held its own, which is crazy, like to be able to write something like this with nothing super memorable about it and it being still strong. This was a piece of just youthful thoughts and hope, man. Hope that we still hold on to as a 20-year-old. Vague hope that youth keeps us holding on to, if that makes any sense. Finished it in almost one sitting. it took like 3 hours to read or something like that. It's 150 pages. Honestly, it was just endearing. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. I'm conflicted because it's not memorable enough, which is why I've taken a star, and I've taken another because a half, because it's just, it needed more. I think strong and easy start. Next up is going to be Men Without Women, which I'm excited for, so I'll see you in the wrap up. Men Without Women. What a fucking story. Stories, should I say. What a book. Oh my god. So Men Without Women is a collection of 7 short stories about exactly that. Men without women. Men who have lost women in certain situations or in different ways throughout their lives. My first point is that I thought this was one hell of a way to start Murakami. If you're thinking about starting to get into Murakami or are interested and don't know where to start, I thought this was a great starting line to, you know, see what's up. It's a collection of 7 short stories, so you know, it's easy to read and it's easy to follow. I absolutely love that all the males here are, I don't know why I call it that, they are males. I love that all the males here are different. They are all of different backgrounds, different, even disabilities, different physical abilities, different stories, different situations, and I really, really like that. Yet they all share this sense of loneliness and this sense of loss. And again, with the piece of life or piece from life vibe, this again didn't feel, if you're looking for like a story with a specific beginning and a specific end and a specific plot in the middle, or maybe something like a plot twist in the middle or whatever, you're not gonna get that here. This is exactly a piece from people's life. That's exactly how it felt to me, and I absolutely love that. It feels real. It feels like you took someone's life and you plucked one tiny piece of it, a year, 2, 3, a decade, and this is the story of that. The stories in it and the writing, it's just a poignant reminder of life and what happens, and loss and grief, and our own reaction to what happens in life. One of my favorite stories in these 7 tales was Yesterday. It's not my favorite, we're gonna talk about my favorite in a little bit, but one of my favorite was Yesterday. And again, with Murakami and inclusion of songs and music. Murakami is a genius when it comes to musics. I always love his inclusion of art, of different books in his book, of different music, and oh my god, I look for it. This whole story is titled Yesterday. If you don't know the Beatles song Yesterday, go listen to it. It's done in both a subtle way and a very not subtle way, and I don't know how he accomplishes that, because that's impossible. Like, those things contradict, but he does it. And my absolute favorite tale within these 7 stories was called Samsa in Love. The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka is one of my all-time favorite stories. I read it and read it and read it again, and I never get tired of it, and I always discover new things and new meanings to other things, and I love analyzing it and talking about it. And this one, Samsa in Love, is the complete opposite. If you don't know, in Kafka's The Metamorphosis, we have Gregor Samsa, a dude who wakes up and finds himself a cockroach. And this is the complete opposite, where we have a bug who finds himself human. And I thought that was fucking fascinating. Looking at, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but like looking at like how much I love and appreciate Kafka, I absolutely loved it. The absolute simplicity in talking about life and real shit that happened in life, and men who found loneliness the only thing that's left for them, and losing the only women that sort of battled that loneliness in their lives, and sort of the emptiness that has been left there after them, and how they're dealing with it. I thought this was absolutely amazing, my dudes. Yeah. Next up, I'm going to start with Sputnik. Can I say the covers of Murakami's books are 100% like so pretty? They're so pretty. My favorite is Kafka on the Shore because it has a little kitty in it. I don't have it here, but it's on the other shelf. But it has a little kitty in it and it's the cutest thing ever. I'm going to start Sputnik Sweetheart, which I am so freaking excited about because it has a sapphic thingy. Like the back of the book has a sapphic vibe to it. And Murakami and how he writes women is interesting. I do like it, but it is interesting. Like his infamous women, like how he writes them, it's interesting. Let me just say that. Never had Murakami or read Murakami where there's a woman describing another woman, and I'm just like interested. I'm done. This followed the story of Summer or Samar. I'm sorry about the pronunciation. I even fucked up pronouncing pronunciation, so I'm sorry about that. It is told from the point of view of her friend Kay, her friend that is developing feelings for her, and she is developing feelings for this woman Mew that she met randomly actually. The first point that I wanted to talk about is the POV itself. So it's from her friend Kay, right? But it's not just what he's witnessing, like just purely his POV like we normally get. It was like an omnipresent thing. There's this omniscient thing also going on where he's not there. Summer didn't tell him what happened. Like something is happening at the present and he's in his room like sleeping or like laying down or whatever, yet he's telling us what's going on with Summer, which was confusing to me. This is the first time I've read a book with like a POV like this, where it's omnipresent and omniscient, but from an actual character. It's not just the author being like that. It was weird, to be honest, and confusing at times, but it still didn't take away from the story and the flow of it. The flow of the story was immaculate. One freaking thing you can count on Murakami for are flawed characters. No one is perfect. When it comes to Murakami's characters, you can say whatever you want about them and his writing and how he describes them, but they are flawed. They are fucking flawed. There is a sense of self-discovery that can be seen as depressing, but honestly, I think it's because we are used to fiction. Not even books, whether that be books, movies, songs, whatever the fuck. I think we're used to them being, you know, having a happy ending and everything comes clear at the end, and that's not life. That's not life. Like, you can be good now and in 2 days you'll be fucked up. So yeah, that sense of depressing melancholy that we have with his book, there isn't a sense of like, okay, this is my story, and then in the middle, oh my god, I'm having issues, and then by the end, yeah, I discovered myself and this is who I am and this is what I'm gonna do with my future at like 22. It's not like that with this one. It's still stagnant, it's still melancholic, we're still, like, you get the sense that you're closing the book, but the character is still moving on. It's still like discovering itself and there is no apparent happy ending. I gotta say, by almost the end, like middle to the end, it's gotten a bit boring, to be honest. The last thing that I like that I can think of is the stories within the stories. It's like you're reading and then you have Summer's dream or Mew's story or what happened to this and that, and I really like that because it motivates me to go back into writing, and I've always loved writing short stories like this about characters that I meet throughout my life, and I love that in this one. It was endearing to see something that I enjoy doing done here. His writing is just so freaking relatable and so beautiful and so well done, and it has the sense to relate to everything. I have BPD and I have psychosis with DPD, and I found a hella quotes here that related to me that had nothing to do with that mental health issue, but I always find that so freaking cool. This was good. It 100% put me into like put me to be open to more Murakami, and I've already have my eye on some more. If you're watching this, thank you so much for 700 subscribers. We just made it. I just saw it, and I'm not gonna talk because I'm gonna fucking cry, but thank you so much. That means a lot, and I'm not all 700 watch, but if you are, I appreciate it, and yeah, thank you. I like to share this space with you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next video. Bye.